Well, good afternoon. Hadn't made a video in a little while. So the 67 Ford Fairlane 500. Couldn't really leave it outside because the vinyl top was bad on it, and of course I knew there was some rust underneath it. I wasn't sure the extent of the rust, but there was some rust underneath it. So last Sunday I pulled the vinyl top off it. Big hole there. Same way here in the back. Well, what I did learn is, at some point, there's some Bondo here. And there's Bondo here, and there's Bondo here. And there's Bondo here. And we got some lead here. I'm assuming that might be factory, but these are not factory. And the pieces that are missing were just missing. And this right here, these have been scabbed together and welded. See this? It's not factory. This car was hit in the left rear corner at one point, and apparently did quite a bit of structural damage to the rear. Maybe that's why it doesn't have that many miles on the car, because it probably sat for a while. But somebody did a very nice job of pulling it out. But see right here, there's Bondo here. Not much. This all right in here has been Bondo. The gaps on the trunk are good, but I did notice Bondo. No Bondo. So this car took a hit to the left, which is why I'm assuming it rotted here, because it was either banged up and they left out in the water for a long time, and then they just covered it. This was pretty much full of Bondo. So I pulled the rear window. I'm going to take the headliner out of it. I'm going to take the front windshield out of it next. There is, see, there's a spot right here. But I'm going to put a vinyl top back on it, so that doesn't bother me. I don't believe this car had a vinyl top on it originally, because this is not the fasteners are not what they used then. Oh, hang on, let me close my door. Got all the bugs in. It's pretty warm in here today. It's over 85 degrees in the shop. I just been playing with it a little bit. Had a minute. I'm gonna go get a load of topsoil. But so I found a top. They want $800 the top. These tops are not hard, or very hard to get a hold of here. These cars are very hard to find. I'm going to put another vinyl top back on it no matter what I did, because it was going to need some work. But see, as bad as it's rotted everywhere else, it's not. The top part of the car is in very good shape. It's got a spot on this side, and a spot very similar on the other side. So I'm going to make an attempt before I go and buy a $800 top that I got to pull off the car in a junkyard and try to get it to match up. I did find on the other side and on this side some drill holes where they had pulled things out. The only problem I have is I'm going to have to take this off and rebuild this. But I can cut these panels and I will measure them and mark them. I can put this all back in. I can grind it down and make it nice and smooth and put a light coat of body fill on it. And then put a vinyl top over it. I'll leave the windows out of it, have vinyl top put back on it. I'll probably do the body work real quick on it. There is not a lot of body work on this. Right there, right there. Same on the other side. You know, a day's work and I can have the doors and the front fender straightened up on both sides. This is going to take a little longer. It's the same thing. This is not as bad. This is pretty common on these cars here. But this is all good in here on this car. The other side is, but I'll fix that. But this was getting water in here, and this is what water does when the gaskets are bad, as they rot on the windshields. But the windshield popped out. The windshield's in good shape. But I'm gonna have to do some fixing. But there's some mono in this car, and I'm assuming it's because of the accident. I went in the trunk, I looked inside the trunk, and the rear well on the car on the left-hand side is manufactured. It is not factory. Somebody made it. It looks close, but you can see where they welded it in. They drilled and riveted it in, and then finish welded it. So this car's had a left-hand rear collision at one time. This is not a show car. It's just a driver. So I guess what I'll do is I'm going to, over the next little bit, I will grind this all out, grind it down. I will fix these areas in here. I will fix these areas, all the rust spots across the back. I'm probably going to grind this out, and I will put in new panels, weld it in, and I will lightly body fill over the top of it. And I will try to get the front done also, and then get the windows back in it, and get the rest of the body work done, and get a quick paint job on it. Hopefully I can get that done before winter, so I can use it next summer. I mean, it runs down the road good, it rides good, it dries good, it stops good. It's just a little bit of an eyesore, and I want to clean it up. I did notice, though, the trunk is not the original trunk on this car. When I got scraping underneath it, on the inside, it has a different color than the rest of the car. The car was originally Wimbledon white, and then it was painted a light yellow, or maybe the white faded to light yellow, and then back to a white again. And and it was a quick paint job. They got paint on everything when they did it. So it might have been years ago, like a Mako or something, who did that. So that's where I'm there on that. So I got ripping and tearing, made a bigger mess, so I can't even drive it. Picked up some fiberglass fenders. Was going to use them on the rat rod. These are really nice. They're 2-piecers. I bought that. Plus I bought a 49 F5 5-speed or 4-speed transmission, 2-speed rear end. It has PTO on it. The motor's stuck on it. It has 37,000 original miles. It came off an Orchard. We're going to go get that hopefully one night this week. I'll shoot a video on it. The cab is really nice on it. And the front fenders, of course, it has the F5 fenders. They're a lot bigger. I think I'm going to go fenderless on the front of this. I think I'm going to save my fenders and everything. I originally wasn't going to run any fenders on this, and I stuck the rear ones on it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep the rear ones on it, or if I'm just going to run her without fenders for the time being until I decide what I want to do. But I want to get, I'm not going to spend a lot of time humming and hawing on fenders. I have a radiator shroud for a 31 Model A. I can put the radiator in that on, and have a radiator in the front and dub the fronts here. I might do that because I really want to just drive this. If I do that, I ordered a just to have it because I wanted it. It was cheap from Jegs, salt flat pipes or lake pipes, you know, with the baffles in them. And then what I have to do is I have to measure the length, and then I'll tack it all together. It comes with a plate. Probably seen them, and then it'll exit out here on both sides, and you can either run the exhaust, which I probably will, down around the bottom, put mufflers on it, and hang them underneath. So, but I think that's what I'm going to do because I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to figure this air ride out and the fenders. I did figure it out. I did change it. I think I'm okay with it, but the original idea was not to run a hood, not to run anything on that. This was just to be a put it together and drive it truck, and that's what I'm going to do. So Fairlane's going to get some work. The underneath on this car, I'm not sure if you, way back on some videos, I may have shot some videos of the underneath of this car. I replaced the passenger side floor pan because I had a rust hole in it. I did a half pan on it and drilled it all out and put it back in the way it was supposed to be. And then I put sound deadener in it and everything. The interior needs to be done, but the motor transmission, the running gear is really good on it. The floor is really clean. The unibody is really clean. So, all right, so let's take a walk out back. Got some changes out back. Messy garage. Out in the heat. Oh, dog's barking at me. So, picked up a dump trailer, a smaller one, for a landscaping job. We're doing a job at a bank right now, rebuilding flower beds. I needed something that was smaller. I could wheel around with it. And I got rid of most of my bigger trailers. My son bought them. So, anyway, whoa. The little building's been moved. We moved it back there because I got a building going in here for storage. I don't know if I talked about that. I may have. I talked about a lot of stuff. But so we're going to bring this up and square it off. And there is a 36 by 60 going here. And then we're going to plate both sides on the top and go out another 18 feet. So however many inches that gives us, that's what we're going to do. We'll have 2 trailer ports on it for storing the equipment, so the equipment doesn't have to sit outdoors in the winter. And that's where I am there. Let's see, what else have we done. Ford's back and running. After all that stuff they did to it, and it still wouldn't run right, and they thought there was a patch they needed to put in the computer. They did a whole bunch of things. Well, come to find out, when they put the new motor in it, they used the crank sensor from the old motor, and they damaged the wire when they put it in, or damaged it, and until it warmed up, it wouldn't run right. So now it's running great, and there is now about 1,000 miles on the new motor, and it was all covered by Ford. So that truck is back. What else have we been doing? I think that's about it. So, okay. That's long enough for today. Let's see, anything else I can talk about? Oh, got a different welder coming. I bought a welder, a bigger one. I got some repairs to do on stuff in here. Neighbor's lawnmower needs some blades. One son's sitting in here till we can do the transfer case on it. It's got the chains not slipping, but the front bearing and the on the input shaft, or the output shaft to the front axle, the bearing on the case is loose, and it's growling when you got a load on her. So finally got the Arctic Cat up and running good. Put a new battery in it. Built the battery box a little different to house a little bit bigger battery. Runs good. Bought this from a neighbor. He didn't use it. I think we've done the story on this. Well, let's see. Always had trouble with it. It always killed batteries, and it was just the way it was hooked up. I did find out that the winch was stuck in gear, so I unhooked the winch from the front, took the power away from it, and it stopped killing batteries. It had a slow drain on the battery. So, all right, I think that's about it. I've rambled long enough. So when I get some welding done on this, hopefully one night this week, if it's raining or something, or whatever, I'll be in and do some welding on this and see where we go. I'm not saying I'm not going to have to change the top, but I think I'd like to just try to weld this up and save the money to put into some new wheels and tires on the car, and put some money into the rat rod. And I really like driving this car, but I want to get it so it's a little bit more presentable so I can just drive it. Okay, have a great day. I'll shoot a final on the Jeep too. I've got some other stuff I want to do to it, but the Jeep's up and running good. So okay, I'll shoot a video on the Jeep too. Thanks for subscribing, commenting, and watching. Have a great day.